Hi everyone, my name is Raj Jayaraman, Special Solutions Architect for QuickSight. In this video, let's see how we can connect QuickSight to a private database in a different AWS region or a different AWS account. QuickSight supports connecting to a database in a private VPC using a VPC connection. For example, you can have an RDS instance or a Redshift warehouse running in a private subnet, and it may have publicly accessible set to no, meaning it has no public IP. This database, for example, has public accessibility set to no and it is in a private subnet. This database cannot be accessed over the internet, so a VPC connection would allow QuickSight to communicate with this database within the VPC that the database resides in. You can access this page which shows you the VPC connections you have already created, or if you want to create a new VPC connection, you can go into your QuickSight homepage. You can click on your username at the top and choose Manage QuickSight, and then choose Manage VPC Connections. By creating a VPC connection in QuickSight, you are adding an Elastic Network Interface, or ENI in short. This ENI is created in the VPC that you specify when creating a VPC connection in QuickSight. In order to create a VPC connection, I need the VPC ID. I'll need a security group to associate with the ENI, and I'll need to provide a VPC connection name. I will provide the name as VPC demo, and for the VPC ID, I will choose the same VPC where my RDS resides in. So I will choose the VPC ID that is ending in 36F. Next, I will choose a subnet where I want to create this VPC connection ENI. An RDS instance will have an IP associated with it, and that IP is based on the subnet where that RDS instance resides in. So for example, the RDS instance that I have here resides in a subnet ending in CF8. So I will choose this subnet and use that when creating my VPC connection. The security group ID that I provision here will be associated with the ENI of this VPC connection. To implement this, I will create a new security group. I'll go into the EC2 console. I'll go into security groups, and I will choose create new security group. I will provide a name for the security group. And I want the security group to reside in the same VPC where I have my RDS instance, as well as where I will have my VPC connection. Now, choosing the inbound rules and outbound rules is crucial when enabling a connection between QuickSight and a private database. For now, I will leave the inbound rules and outbound rules as it is, and I will click on Create Security Group. I will go back to the QuickSight console, and I will provide the security group ID of the security group which I just created. I will click on Create. Now that the VPC connection is created, an ENI should be provisioned in the subnet ID specified here. I will go into my EC2 console and choose Network Interfaces, and here I will search for QuickSight. This would result in the ENIs that has been created for QuickSight VPC connection. So if I click on this ENI ID, I will get additional details about this ENI, wherein I will get the private IP associated with that ENI, the security group that we created earlier, and the subnet that it resides in, and the VPC ID. Now, this network interface, or ENI, allows QuickSight to exchange network traffic with a network instance within your VPC. You can provide all of the standard security controls for this network interface, as you do with other traffic in your VPC. Route tables, network access control lists, ACLs, subnets, and security group settings all apply to the network traffic to and from QuickSight in the same way that they apply to traffic between other instances in your VPC. Now let's go back to the QuickSight VPC connection that we just created. The security group attached to the QuickSight network interface behaves differently than most security groups because it isn't stateful. While other security groups are usually stateful, meaning that after they establish an outbound connection to a resource's security group, they automatically allow return traffic. In contrast, the security group associated with the QuickSight's ENI doesn't automatically allow return traffic. Because of this, adding an egress rule to the QuickSight network interface security group doesn't work. Now, what this means is you need to provide specific inbound and outbound rules in the security group that you provisioned for your QuickSight VPC connection and allow that in your RDS security group as well. Let's see how we can do this and how it works. I will go back to the EC2 console where I have the security group created for our QuickSight VPC connection. In parallel, I will also open the security group associated with my RDS instance. When you create a data source in QuickSight and choose the VPC connection that you just created, QuickSight would reach out to the database via the security group that is associated with the VPC connection. For example, when QuickSight first reaches out to the database, it uses the security group and sends an outbound request. Here, the default outbound rule is allowing traffic to all IP addresses on all ports. So the connection from QuickSight goes to the security group associated with the RDS instance. In the RDS instance inbound rule, we do not have any specific rule allowing the traffic coming over from QuickSight security group. So let's create a new inbound rule so that the traffic coming from QuickSight can reach the RDS instance. I will click on Edit Inbound Rules and I will add a rule. Since this database is Postgres, I will choose type as Postgres and the source type as custom, and as a source I will provide the security group ID of the QuickSight VPC security group. So I will copy the security group ID and I will provide it here. I will click on Save Rules. Now that we have allowed QuickSight VPC connection security group, the connection or the traffic coming in from QuickSight can reach our RDS instance. When RDS instance sends an outbound request or when RDS instance sends a response back to QuickSight, it uses the outbound rule specified in the RDS security group. So here we are allowing all traffic on all ports. So the traffic from the RDS instance reaches to the QuickSight security group. Here, the QuickSight security group does not have any inbound rule that allows return traffic from the RDS instance via the RDS instance's security group. Let's add an inbound rule to allow the traffic that is coming back from the RDS instance. So I will click on Edit Inbound Rules and I will click on Add Rules. I will click on Type as All TCP and I will choose source type as custom, and as source I will provide the security group associated with the RDS instance. And I will click on Save Rules. Now revisiting the rule that we just added, you might notice that the inbound rules that we specified in the RDS instance's security group is different from the inbound rule that we specified for the QuickSight VPC connection security group. The reason that we allow all traffic or all TCP here is because when QuickSight sends a request to the RDS instance, it sends a request to the port 5432. Now, the return traffic from the RDS instance could take any port and not necessarily 5432, and this cannot be determined. So this is the reason that we are allowing all TCP or all the port ranges for traffic coming in from the RDS instances security group to reach QuickSight via the inbound rule that we specified here. Now that we have set up the security group connections, and now that both the security groups for RDS as well as QuickSight's VPC connection allows traffic, let's go into QuickSight and create a new dataset and try to connect to this RDS instance that we have here. Datasets, and I'll choose new dataset. Here I will choose PostgreSQL as the connector, and I will provide it a name. And connection type is where I choose the VPC connection that we just created. So I'll click on the connection type and choose the VPC demo, that is the VPC connection that was just created. I'll provide the database server, and in this case that is the endpoint of the RDS instance. I'll provide the port, and I'll click on validate connection. Now that the connection has been validated, we know that QuickSight can communicate with that private RDS instance. I'll click on create data source, and here all the tables associated in the public schema are being listed, and if I choose any table here and select it and choose directly query your data and visualize, an analysis is created from the dataset that we just created, and we can start creating visuals out of this dataset, pulling in the data from the private RDS instance. Now we created the dataset in the same region where we have our RDS instance. Our RDS instance is in North Virginia, and the analysis and dataset was created in North Virginia as well. Now what if we want to create a dataset in QuickSight in a different region or a different AWS account than the one where we have our RDS instance? For example, I want to create a dataset in QuickSight in Oregon region that connects to my RDS instance that is in North Virginia region. We can go about doing this by creating a VPC peering connection between a VPC in Oregon region and the VPC where I have my RDS instance in North Virginia region. Before we create a VPC peering connection, we need to create a VPC connection within QuickSight in a VPC that is in Oregon region. For this, you can create a new VPC or use an existing VPC. I'll use an existing VPC in Oregon region. I'll switch over region to Oregon. Here, I will use an existing VPC called QS, and the subnet I will be using is QS2. Now I have my VPC ID, I have my subnet ID, and I will have to create a security group for QuickSight's VPC connection. I will go into security groups and I will create a new security group. I'll give it a name. I will choose the right VPC. I will add an inbound rule later, and I will leave the outbound rules to the default value. You can use the default outbound rules of that allows 0.0.0/0, or based on your networking configuration or your networking setup, you can modify the outbound rules as well accordingly. Please do work with your networking team to implement these rules at the security group level, NACL level, as well as the route table level. I will create the security group. Now that I have a security group and we have a subnet as well, let's go about creating a VPC connection in QuickSight in Oregon region. So I have the region as Oregon. I will go into manage QuickSight, and then I will click on manage VPC connection. Here I'll click on add VPC connection. I'll provide a name. I will choose the VPC and I will choose a subnet. I will copy the VPC security group ID that we created earlier. I will paste it here and I will click on create. While our VPC connection is getting created, let's go ahead and create a VPC peering connection. I'll go into VPC console in North Virginia region where I have my RDS instance. I'll scroll down to peering connections. And I will click on create peering connection. I'll provide a name for this VPC peering connection. I'll choose the VPC ID as the VPC requester and I will choose another region. Since both of these VPCs are in the same AWS account but in a different region, I will choose Oregon as the region and I need to provide the VPC ID of the VPC in Oregon region. So I'll go into Oregon region and I will copy the VPC ID. I will paste it here and I will click on peering connection. Now please do note that the VPCs that you're creating VPC peering connection for have different CIDR ranges. For example, the VPC that I have in North Virginia has a different CIDR range compared to the VPC that I have in Oregon region. I'll click on OK. Now this is the VPC peering connection that we created right now and it has a status of pending acceptance. So I will go to the VPC console in Oregon region. I'll choose peering connections. I will select the VPC peering connection that I created right now and I'll click on actions and I'll choose accept request. Once I click on yes accept request, the peering connection would be provisioning and a VPC peering connection would be established between these two VPCs. Now that the VPC peering connection is being provisioned, we'll go into the route tables of these two VPCs and update the route table rules. To identify the route table that is associated with the subnet that I selected to create a VPC connection within QuickSight in Oregon, I'll go into subnets. I'll choose the subnet that I selected. I'll click on route table and I'll click on the route table ID here so that it opens the route table console and I'll click on routes. Here I'll choose edit routes and I'll add a new route. Now the rule that I set up here should allow the traffic from this VPC in Oregon to reach the RDS instance that is in North Virginia region's VPC. So I will provide the RDS instance's IP here. This is the private IP of my RDS instance and as target I will choose a peering connection and I will select the peering connection that we just created. I will click on save routes. Similarly, I'll have to update the route table rule in the North Virginia region's VPC. Now the route table rule that I need to add in the North Virginia region VPC is the private IP of the VPC connection that I just created. In order to find the private IP of the VPC connection, I'll go into the EC2 console and I'll choose network interfaces. Here you can search for QuickSight and the network interface ID that comes up, when you click on that, it will provide you the details of the ENI that QuickSight creates when you're creating a VPC connection. So here, if you scroll down, you can find the private IP address. I'll copy this private IP address. Now I'll go into the VPC console in North Virginia region. I have the subnet open where I have my RDS instance running in the VPC in North Virginia region. Here, when I click on route table, I can see the route table associated with this subnet and I'll open this route table. I'll click on routes and I will choose edit routes. I'll click on add route, and here I will paste the IP address belongs to the network interface created by the QuickSight VPC connection in Oregon. I will append /32. As target, I'll choose pairing connection and select the VPC pairing ID that we just created. I'll click on save changes. Now that we created a VPC pairing connection along with the appropriate route table rules, we will go into the security group rules of the VPC connection as well as the RDS instance to update the inbound rules. First, we'll start with the security group of the VPC connection in Oregon. I will choose security groups and I'll select the security group that we just created for QuickSight VPC connection. I'll choose edit inbound rules. I'll select add rule, and here I need to allow all TCP so that the return traffic coming from any port from the RDS instance reaches this QuickSight VPC connection, and the source would be the IP of the RDS instance. Please note that when we are working with VPC pairing connections across regions or across AWS account IDs, we cannot select the security groups. So instead of that, we'll have to provide the IP addresses or CIDR ranges. Now we have established a rule which allows the return traffic coming from RDS instance to reach the QuickSight VPC connection. I will save this rule. Similarly, we'll have to update the security group of the RDS instance so that it allows the traffic coming in from the QuickSight VPC connection from Oregon region. So I'll go into the EC2 console in North Virginia. I have the security group of my RDS instance open here. I will choose edit inbound rule and I will click on add rule. I'll select PostgreSQL. And here I need to provide the private IP of the QuickSight VPC connection in Oregon region. And I will paste it here. I will append it with 32 and I will choose save rules. Now we have established a security group rules for both RDS instance as well as the VPC connection created in Oregon. Now let's go back to QuickSight and let's create a dataset in Oregon region and try to connect to the RDS instance in North Virginia region using the VPC connection. Go to QuickSight, choose datasets, I'll choose new dataset. Note that the region is right now Oregon. I will select PostgreSQL. I'll provide it a name. As connection type, I will choose the VPC connection that we just created, and I will provide the RDS instance's endpoint. I'll provide the port, and I will click on validate connection. Now we can see that the connection has been validated, meaning that QuickSight can reach out to the RDS instance in North Virginia region. I'll just create data source so that a data source has been created, and I will select any table under the public schema. Select the table. I'll choose directly query your data and I'll click on visualize. As you can see, if I select any fields from the table, QuickSight can reach out to the RDS instance, pull the data, and create visuals. To reiterate, the inbound rules that I've used in my security groups allows traffic only from the RDS instance's IP as well as QuickSight VPC connection's IP. However, the outbound rules have been set to the default. Please do work with your networking team to establish the correct outbound rules that you need for your company's security requirements. As well as check with your route table rules so that the proper traffic is flowing between the different VPCs in your VPC peering connection. To summarize, you can connect QuickSight to any private database running in a different region or different AWS account using a QuickSight VPC connection and a VPC peering connection so that the data transfer between QuickSight and your database is secure and established between the VPCs and does not travel outside the VPC. Thank you.